guys, today we're going to look at ratios. So Ms. Waldron, what is a ratio?
A ratio is just a comparison of two things.
Okay, so we might be comparing something like cats and dogs.
All right, let's do 6 cats and 9 dogs.
Okay, so what do I need to do with this?
Well, with cats and dogs, you might see a problem that asks you this. Find the ratio of dogs to cats.
So guys, keep in mind it is always important to pay attention to the order. Notice that in the instructions it says dogs first, so that means that I need to write that number first.
All right, I can write this ratio in 3 different ways. Dogs is going to be my first number, and I can use the words and say dogs to cats. I can use a colon and do dogs to cats, or I could write it like this, dogs to cats.
Well, you know, that looks like a fraction, so are ratios the same as fractions?
Ratios are not the same as fractions, but they do have similar characteristics. They could look like a fraction, and you could simplify it like a fraction, but that's where it stops.
So we should always simplify that, so we need to simplify these ratios.
All right, I can divide both of these by 3, so that would give me 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, and 3, 2, 2.
And guys, I want you to notice that when she read each one of those, they sounded the same. So you always read a ratio as 3 to 2, no matter how it's written. Okay? So let's look at a couple of examples. The first example we have says colors. So let's see what we have. I see yellow stars and green stars. So let's first write our categories.
Okay, yellow stars. There are 3 of them. And I see 4 green stars. And it is important to always do your categories first. It will make it easier when you have to actually do the ratio problem.
So let's see what the question asks. Find the ratio of green stars to yellow stars.
Okay, green stars comes first. So that'll be my first number. And it would be 4 to 3.
Good. Okay, so let's look at the next question. Find the ratio of yellow stars to green stars.
All right, well in this one, yellow stars comes first. So my first number would be 3, and then 2, 4.
Good. All right, so let's look at our next example. The next one says shapes. And you know, all of those have the exact same color. So what are our different categories here?
Okay, well, I see triangles and squares. And there are 4 triangles, and it looks like 5 squares.
All right, so let's look at our problem. Find the ratio of triangles to squares.
All right, well in this problem, triangles comes first, so I'm going to do 4, 2, 5.
All right, that's easy. Let's look at our next problem.
All right, the next one says squares to total shapes.
So we don't have total shapes as one of our categories.
Well, we could, and actually we should. All ratios can have a total category. In this case, it would be total shapes. So my total would just be the different shapes added up, which is 9.
Good. So our ratio says find squares, which comes first.
Which is 5, to total, which is 9.
So if we can always have a total category, let's go back to our first problem and do that. So the total for this problem would have been 7. And you might see a problem that looks kind of like total stars to green stars, which would be?
Total stars was 7. Green stars is 4, so 7 to 4.
Very good. So I guess our next question is, what does a ratio actually mean? So first, let's go ahead and identify our categories.
All right, well I see red stars and green stars.
So red stars, there are 12, and green stars, there are 8.
All right, and let's do total stars, which would be 20.
Good. So for this question, it says, what is the ratio of red stars to green stars?
Okay, well, red was 12, green is 8, and that could be simplified by 4, and we would get 3, 2, 2.
All right, so back to our question of what does that actually mean? So we have a sentence that is really the answer every time we ask this question. For every blank, there are blank. In this question, or in this case, it means that for every 3 red stars, there are 2 green stars. So keep in mind, anytime when it asks for the meaning, or if it might say describe the relationship, you're going to use that sentence. For every blank, there are blank. All right, so we're going to do something a little bit different this time. We've got some examples for you to work. So I'm going to show you a problem, and you are going to solve it on your own paper. So when we say pause, be prepared to pause your video and work it out, and when you're ready, press play again. Okay, so your first problem, you have 12 baseballs and 8 soccer balls. Find the ratio of baseballs to soccer balls. All right, pause your video.
Okay, so baseballs to soccer balls. Baseballs comes first, and there are 12 of those. And then soccer balls, and there are 8. This can be simplified, which would give me 3 to 2 as my ratio of baseballs to soccer balls.
Very good. So let's look at your next problem. Find the ratio of dinosaurs to giraffes.
Giraffes to dinosaurs.
All right, pause your video.
Okay, now that you're finished, let's look at this. Giraffes. We have 3 giraffes, and we have 15 dinosaurs. This can be simplified to 1 to 5 for my ratio of giraffes to dinosaurs.
Great. All right, so guys, you have one last problem. I hope you're doing well so far. Find the ratio of red cars to total cars. Pause the video.
Okay, so let's look at this one. Red cars to total cars.
So first, go ahead and write in the total cars as a category.
Okay, my total cars is going to be the red plus the yellow, which would be 10. So my red cars would be 2, and total is 10, which would simplify to 1, 2, 5. So there's my ratio for red cars to total cars.
All right, guys, I hope you did really good. If not, then go back and try these again. All right, see you later.